Hello friends, in today's lecture we are going to start a new topic, fused, bridge and cage ring systems. So fused, bridged and caged rings. These are some different types, okay, of rings. In this case, when we already seen 6-membered rings, then other than 6 members, and now these are the fused, bridge and cage ring systems. So what is meant by fused rings? When more than one rings comes in contact with each other, if more than one ring in contact with other ring and having some common carbon atoms in between that rings, have common carbon atoms. Okay, now we try to differentiate this type of rings, fused rings, by taking carbons. How many number of carbon atoms are common in that rings? Suppose we take first type, rings with no common carbon. Rings with no common carbon atom, and we call that compounds are spiro compounds. These compounds are spiro compounds. These are the spiro compounds. Okay, now we take some examples of spiro compounds. Suppose we have, this is 5-membered ring attached with 3-membered ring, attached with 3-membered ring. At that time, when we try to write, suppose this is first ring and this one is the second ring. Now this is the bigger in size, having more members. This is 5-membered ring and this is 3-membered ring system, so that we try to write its name. At that time, the ring having more members, more number of carbon atoms, are a parent ring, so its name is this is 3-membered ring, so we write here cyclopropane, and this is a substituent on this ring, so that we call this is cyclopropyl, this is cyclopentane, cyclopropyl, cyclopentane. Okay, and you focus on the structure at that time you see here there is no any carbon is a common in between these two. Okay, sorry, here we don't call these are the spiro compounds. Spiro compounds having one carbon is common carbon. So these are the normal compounds with no common carbon atoms. And here another example is suppose we try to write two rings. Okay, in this case we write here, suppose this is the bond between two cyclohexyl ring. At that time both having same number of carbon atoms. At that time one ring acts as a substituent and one ring acts as a parent. So its name is very simple, cyclohexyl, cyclohexane. Then next point, second type of rings is nothing but the rings having one common carbon. Rings having one common carbon atom. And now here we call these compounds are spiro compounds with one common carbon atom. Okay, and in earlier case this type of compounds having no common carbon atom, we don't call these are the spiro compounds. Spiro compound means the compounds having one carbon is common. Okay, and so that we write here these are the spiro compounds. Okay, now we take here one example of spiro compound. Suppose this is your 5-membered ring and this is your 3-membered ring. In earlier case we already take such type of example, but in this case there is no any carbon is common. But now when we take the same example but there is no bond between these two cyclic rings, here one carbon atom is common for both. If we try to count carbon atoms for this 5-membered ring system, at that time this carbon atom is common for both rings. In 3-membered ring contain also 3 carbon atoms and 5-membered ring contain 5 carbon atoms. But when we count both carbon atoms, at that time there is no 8 carbons in this case. In this case, in first example, when we see, at that time we have 8 carbon atoms, but when we see this example in second case, at that time there are only 7 carbons are present. So that we call one carbon is common for both the rings. Okay, so we call these are the spiro compounds, and now we are try to write its name. At that time how we write its name? Here we write spiro first, spiro, and in bracket we try to write X, Y and Z. In bracket X, Y and Z. So here in this case, if your compound which contain more than one cycle, if there is present, at that time you call you try to write its number X, Y and Z. Suppose for getting some idea about this X, Y and Z, we take one example, and in this case here suppose your compound have this is 6-member ring system. Okay, and this is another one. Okay, now we have one 6-member ring system. Here another one ring system is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. This is 7-member, this is 6-member ring, and here another one carbon atom is also common in between these two rings. So that we call here how many numbers in uncommon? 1, 2, 3, 4, and in this case 1, 2, 3 carbons. So we call X is means what? The ring which contain more number of uncommon carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here X is equal to 4, here 3, this is Y, and here 1 for Z. Okay, now we say here X is 4, Y is 3 and Z is 1. Okay, so in this case there is no Z. Why? Because there is no uncommon carbon atom in third case. So here we write 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2 for Y, 2 and 0. In Spiro compound this Z is always 0. Okay, and now we call how many number of carbon atom? All carbon atoms you count, these are the 7. So we write here heptane. Okay, this is Spiro 420 heptane is the name for Spiro compounds. Okay, then next point is rings having 2 common carbon atoms, but that point we will see in next lecture. Okay, thank you.